people change and people learn and people make mistakes. And I've made a lot of mistakes over my social media journey. I've filmed a lot of things I didn't, posted things that now I'd never post. And 4 years ago, I was very happy just flinging it on the internet. And one person sees that one video of me or that one thing that I've said, or it's a comment or whatever it is. And they'll always have that opinion of me no matter what. I've gotten less politically correct with this as I've gotten on. At the start, I was like...
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I was erring on the side of caution. Now I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm in the business of making people fitter, as fit as they possibly can be, and as happy and as healthy as they possibly can be. Because I know there's a direct correlation in my life, because I've fucking lived it. When I'm at my absolute fittest, I'm also at my absolute happiest.
Dos, it's very rare we have two-time guests on the dos&d show, but this man we can't resist. Prime Train, welcome back to the dos&d show.
Thank you, boys. Thank you for having me. Oh, I can't resist you boys either. It's great to be back. It's good to see your beautiful faces again.
How are you, legend? What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm got seasonal depression at the moment with this terrible weather that we have here, unfortunately. You've obviously moved down from the Sunshine State.
I know, depressing.
How are you finding it?
Shit. Yeah.
Really?
No. What I do...
shit on Melbourne.
No. What I am loving is being back around people again. Yeah. Like being very isolated up north, not around my mates. So
It is quite a social spot, I believe, Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like, it's good for that. And... if you've got, school friends here or footy friends or whatever it is, it's a good sense of community as well.
And good on you for cutting your hair.
Thank you.
How much did you raise for charity for that one?
I know. I've been raising money. I actually will eventually, when I do eventually cut it, for those that aren't watching and just listening, I do have it tied up in a bun. And I have, I think a year ago, almost to this date, we did a podcast together. And I was just saying off air before that I had it tied up then as well. So for some reason, when we meet... I tie up the hair. I tie up the mullet. Do you guys like it?
I like it.
I always like your hair, Prime.
Don't lie. All right.
No,
I genuinely am. I like the short. I prefer it without the mullet.
I feel a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Sophisticated.
Yeah.
From this angle, it's I can't see it.
Yeah, me too. It looks
like I'm growing up.
Yeah. Very mature.
Well, speaking of, obviously, we're not going to talk too much footy today, but you've just come off the back of this footy tour. I've watched a lot of those vlogs. I've really enjoyed it. So well done. The content's really, really good. But you've been all over the world, all over Australia. What are some of the highlights of it thus far?
Wow. Frequent fly points, a lot of them. Mate, I've racked them up. I went into my Virgin Australia the other day. I've got like over 700,000 points, which is just ridiculous. So that's probably one of the better things to come out of it. But honestly, mate, to be 100% honest, it was one of the kind of greatest experiences I reckon I've had in my life. Going around to different clubs and communities and, towns and cities and places. I was fortunate enough to go to New York and London as well and play footy there. Went down to Tassie, WA, New South Wales, Queensland, literally all over Australia, all over the world, and just playing footy and giving a little bit of exposure and media attention to these different places, these different clubs, volunteers and for me and my videographer and my girlfriend came along to a lot of them as well. We all kind of could see the difference in what made a good club and what made a bad club and what made a kind of middle club. And it's all got to do with culture. It's all got to do with culture and the amount of people that are involved with that club. You've got the mums, you've got we've got it up on the screen at the moment. That's elite. You've got like the mums and the partners, people coming on the Thursday and they'll cook everyone dinner kind of thing. And like you have that at some clubs and you don't at others. And people were just happier, at a good club. So it was an incredible experience.
Keen to actually chat a lot about the business element of what you do, mate, because and I'm going to ask this question before I forget, because I know I'm going to forget and I'm probably going 10 steps too forward. But when you mention frequent flyers, it's tax time at the moment, right?
Yep.
You've started your business really young, right? Mm-hmm. And this just came to me. Like, did your eyes open up to something like when it's tax time as a business owner? Did you get a sneaky tax bill you didn't think you were going to get? One day you had a bit of an awakening on I needed,
Still now, bro. I've done it for 4 years and I'm still like, gee whiz, I've got to pay this big tax bill. I'm very fortunate that my old man, he runs a business and he's an entrepreneur and he's got an accountant that works in his business. So he also looks after my books as well. So thank the Lord Thanks,
That's
Baulch.
good.
Thanks, Dad. Because without him, I would have absolutely no clue what to do. I get into my Xero sometimes, and I get a text from my accountant. He's like, "Mate, you've got like 2,000 unreconciled transactions here. You need to like start getting some stuff sorted." So, no, he's great. My accountant's great and sorts everything out for me. But yeah, it is quite confusing. When you all start kind of with business, what you want to spend your money on, what's a business expense, what isn't, how do you kind of navigate around that? You've got to pay yourself a wage as well. And then what is the best way so you can get taxed the least amount in the end?
That's interesting because a lot of people probably just think, oh, Prime makes all this money and it just goes all into his pocket and that's not how it works at all.
It all goes back into the business. And then a lot of people also don't understand, like with the apparel and the subs, you got a lot of things like sitting in the warehouse that is going to be sold. I know it's going to be sold, but I could have between, okay, I'm not going to say the number, but like it's a lot of money that's like kind of sitting not sold, and you don't have that money because you've paid for the subs and everything or the apparel. So business can be quite a tricky thing, and you always have cash flow issues in whatever business you have. It doesn't matter what you run, you always got to figure out, and that's kind of where budgeting and having financial advisors and that kind of thing comes into play and can really help you in the future.
I don't want to just graze over the fact of this footy tour, just purely.
Sorry.
No, and that's right. Before we move, the only thing I just thought of, and because you probably lived and breathed it for the last, I don't know how long you were even prepping it prior to the footy season even starting, but if you look back 4 years ago, for example, or however many years ago, to think that you have literally been the most exclusive player to go around to all these clubs all around the world, bringing bigger crowds than ex-AFL players. Like, it must be a pretty humbling thought upon reflection. How do you feel looking back?
Yeah, it's a bit of a pinch me moment. Just you kind of saying it then is a part where you kind of check you check yourself and you realize how grateful you kind of are for it. Looking back, like you said, 4 years ago, I would have been playing like VFL, trying to play in the AFL. That was always the goal. And I was never good enough. I'm very happy to admit that. But I think that, what I'm trying to do for local football, it's never really been done before. It might have been done by like ex-AFL and that, but like not on the kind of scale that we did it this year. And it was incredible, just the amount of people that I got to meet. And you become friends for life as well with these people. And now wherever I go in Australia, and I hope to do it again next year and double down and make it bigger, make it better. Keep playing good footy. But I've loved every single, minute of it, every hour of it. It does get draining. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
It
like
gets
how
draining.
how do you possibly, again, we say like you're always when you're in front of kids or in front of fans or anybody, and you rock up to these footy clubs and everybody's been waiting potentially months for this.
Yeah.
You might be at the end of that, getting towards the end before the cutoff period of local footy. You must be exhausted. You're traveling. You have to be up again. All these people want your attention, want all of you. How the fuck do you get through it?
Literally, and then you're running a business on the side as well. Yeah. And it's kind of like you wake up on Monday morning and you've got all the vlog to kind of edit and finalize, and the reels that you've got to make, and all the shorts, and then you've got you're dealing with someone that hasn't been sent their program and it's just sitting in their spam folder, but they're messaging you asking you to get. It becomes quite tedious sometimes, but mate, I love it, and I've always wanted to be busy because if I'm not busy, then I feel like I kind of just like I get lazy. And I hate that feeling. So it is a lot of work and it does get draining, but it just comes with the territory, and I'm so grateful for what I do.
In terms of the actual vlogging aspect of content creation, like it's probably something that not a lot of people are doing because short form is just everyone is so obsessed with TikTok and Instagram, whatever else. You've obviously seen an opportunity, jump on YouTube, create really high quality vlogs, football style. There's only like a couple of others that are doing it. Knowing that you're probably not going to, I don't know how long you want to play footy for, or if you're still pretty young, so you might want to play for another 5-10 years. Yep. I don't know. But do you have other ideas on your mind, or you're thinking already about long form content, other collaborations or things that you're maybe trying to think about in 2, 3, 4 years rather than just footy?
Yeah, 100%. But I think that too much planning with content creation, it becomes, like I said before, it becomes a bit tedious. It's like, I want to do this or I want to do that. Just post and just like let it fly and figure out what works. In 4 years, I might have done 2 ACLs, God forbid, and who knows? So I've got to figure out. But then let's say I was planning and I was like, well, I want to post all these vlogs. It's like things happen in life that you just can't change. So the planning of all of that comes hard. You obviously have goals and benchmarks that you want to hit, but I think that too much planning, especially in content creation, is not the way to do it, because naturally things just happen. I might post like a nutrition reel and it might get 5 million views. I'm like, oh, well, now I'm just going to double down and keep posting those nutrition reels because they perform well. So yeah, I just find that planning gets a bit too scheduled for me.
Did you have to sign anything with clubs in case of injury or like?
No, but a lot of clubs asked me and they wanted me to pay me before I'd played. So like, I'll give you the first half now. I said, no, because like, what if I get injured? I don't want you to pay me. Like, pay me all after. But I think it was more of a way for them to like do do the salary cap or something. I don't know, because they want to pay it not for one game. They want to pay it for like 4 games or 3 games or something. So you fit in the salary cap and you'll have it worked out all well. But yeah, it was just a crazy experience to do it all. Far out. There's just so much flying.
This episode of the dos&d show with the great Prime Train is brought to you by Fleet Plan Hire Solutions.
Now, Primey's been on the show twice now.
Oh, yes.
We've loved having him be a part of dos&d. But you know who's part of the show every single week?
Who's
and
that,
we couldn't
Dos?
do the show without him. Fleet Plant Hire Solutions, the best in the business in earth-moving equipment.
What kind of projects do they handle?
You're talking big project. You're talking plant hire,
Oh, yes.
fleet hire, the biggest tools and equipment you need for any type of construction and earth moving. They've got it.
Plus, best in the business with customer service. Visit Chris and the team now at www.fbh.com.au.
Back to the episode with Prime Train. What's front of mind at the moment, business-wise? So take local footy out of it. There's not too many rounds left in the year. You're obviously playing down at Phillip Island, finishing the year there. You've obviously got the SUPs, you've got the coaching, online programs, plenty of merch and stuff. What's kind of front of mind at the moment?
At the moment, during winter, it's always the apparel and the hoodies. I'm wearing one of the hoodies at the moment. These unwind hoods. Last year we released them and they went crazy, gangbusters. I couldn't believe how many people bought them. I was blown away.
They look really comfy.
Thank you. But then this year we've made them better quality. We had an issue with like the puff print last year. Some of it would crack when you put it through the wash. We've upgraded all of that. So that's the hard thing a lot of the time with like apparel. It's like, if you release something, you never know like if it's going to stand the test of time. Really, like you can't really put it through the wash like 150 times before you release it. Sometimes. So anyway, I think the apparel is the big focus now at the moment over the kind of seasonal depression time that we have at the moment, and then. When it gets to the summer, it's more programs and SUPs seem to be the big sellers there because everyone wants to get shredded for BTB or something. Yeah. So that's what we end up selling a little bit more of.
Do you plan in advance, financially what you think you're going to be able to bring in terms of all these elements of your business? How to the T do you do it? Do you have like goals you set financially?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a whiteboard of goals up on my room, which I've got room and office. So every time like I wake up, I see the goals. Like first thing I see when I wake up, then the last thing I see when I go to bed. It can get a bit stressful when you look in them at bed. You're like, oh, shit, I haven't done that. But yeah, generally like that's a good thing to have. And then I also have like another thing where it's like, have I eaten this much protein today?
Yep.
It's like 5 things, and I give myself a tick or a cross for that day if I do it or if I don't do it. You want to hit like, 25 out of the 30 if you can in the 30-day month. Because I think that it's unrealistic to do 30 out of 30. And I've found as I've done this for longer that like the sustainability thing is only something you can do if you have balance.
Yep.
And I have at times had the like, no balance at all and just gone all in, locked in, which is great. But then like afterwards you kind of struggle to get back to that. It's like, I don't want to get back there because it's so difficult. So having that balance is a massive key.
So you grazed over that a little bit because I want to know, do you have someone that you're running a full, profitable, really schmick business model? Like it's clear as day what you've done is, performed exactly probably better than what you ever thought.
Way better, yeah.
To be honest,
yeah.
You mentioned your dad's a clever bloke. He's an entrepreneur as well. He's obviously got some good people around him too. Like when we and me and Dee, you're trying to get better at this as well as our business evolves. But do you sit down? Is it a month to month? Is it a once a quarter? Every 6 months? With if it's your dad, or do you have someone look over the books or projections, the actual business itself? Because I often think, playing devil's advocate, like I often think about us as a show. I'm like, fuck, if social just went and Spotify and Apple just like decided to delete themselves, and YouTube, and like we've got nothing to provide our sponsors, so we then stop getting paid. What would we do? Like maybe share a little bit about your current systems that you have.
Yeah, no, great question. I always at the end of the month, I'll sit down and go through if I've made a profit or made a loss. And you do make losses because you might order $50,000 worth of subs one month, and then you got to try and cover for that, or apparel as well, and then you've got all that kind of a lump sum in the month, and then you're like, well, how am I going to get back from this, or how am I going to kind of prep this up? So you're always looking at, for me, it's kind of like I'll try to earn a specific amount from the business, just from like e-com online sales. And then I try to earn a specific amount from footy and YouTube. And then I'll try to earn a specific amount from social media. So there's a few different revenue streams, or a lot of different revenue streams there, kind of thing that you can look at and be like, well, I have only made this month, this much here. How can I lock in a 6-month sponsorship, with a Whoop, or with, a clothing brand or something, like Uniqlo, or, just anything. Reebok as well.
That was awesome.
Yep, Reebok, locked in with them. So you kind of look at those things like, I could, I'm only earning this much here. And it's really good to have it kind of as a visual, quantitative thing that you can actually look at and be like, hold on a second, I need to, I was earning 6 months ago this much, and now I need to do this to kind of start, earning a little bit more here and there.
Because we talk about that all the time. It's almost like when you notice it, you go, you find a way. You find a way to bring it in.
Yeah.
Like you go, okay, that area was lower because my focus was somewhere else. I was traveling a shitload, so my focus probably wasn't on the subs or the merch. It's all right. I know. I'll make it work. I'll balance it back out.
See, the income's a small part of it, I believe, because the income for me, it's pretty structured and it will come in. But the most interesting one is the expenses. And when you look at your expense, you're like, going out, fuck me, or drinking, or dining out. Like I've got a beautiful girlfriend and we love going out for dinners, but I do generally pay, so I don't want to go out to too many during the month. I try to cut that down sometimes. But there's a lot of different things that I look at. I look at in the expenses column, and I'm like, that subscription that I've had for the 6 months that I never bloody use, those kind of things. And I think it's good to be a little bit frugal with that kind of stuff. Like
sure.
It's important to to have a good idea of what you're earning and what you're spending your money on, so you can get more income.
In a similar way, do you track your growth, your social media, like followers growth and that kind of thing? Because I'm sure people probably think there's a strategy, but I don't know how much to the T your strategy is. What is your social media strategy?
I believe in posting, or let's say throwing stuff at the wall and seeing kind of what hits, or throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing if it
Love
sticks.
that.
It's you throw a few different things, and some might stick a little bit. Then you might need to change the hook, or you might need to change the font. And I've gone through a lot of different progressions with my social media on every platform. There's times where on TikTok, every single video I post got 1 million views. That doesn't happen anymore. TikTok's changing a little bit now. But it's also a hard thing because I'm not just doing it for views. I also have to make a sale as well.
Yeah.
So that can become quite difficult because generally if you're trying to sell something, it doesn't go that well. I'm sure you guys have done things where you might be trying to sell something, or you've seen before Instagram accounts post something to try and sell, and it just doesn't perform as well. So you need to find other ways to kind of like wear it in content or something, and then have it down. Hey, also 15% off. It might be a day in the life of me wearing this hoodie, and then it's like 15% off hoods kind of thing. But it's not so much sell in your face. It's more just like a behind the wall sell.
Yeah, we've probably noticed that, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll see as we go on through this episode, like all our segments, we try not to look down the camera and say, buy this, buy this, buy this.
Yeah.
We try and you'll see a perfect example a little bit later on. So there's a little
By the
teaser.
way, Prime Joe, we've nearly hit 10K on Instagram.
Hey.
So hopefully by the time this is out,
Make sure you guys go follow dos&d Instagram.
Yes.
That's what I reckon. If you hear from my channels, make sure you go and give them
Thanks,
a follow.
brother.
And if you hear from theirs,
follow
me
the
one.
Prime.
Head over to Prime, yeah. all three of you that aren't following Prime. So we again, like as your presence continues to grow, is there any other areas that you're trying to look to hit? So obviously you've hit the footy community pretty hard. I assume you've got the, every teenager that's remotely interested in football seems to be a fan of yours. Is there other demographics you're interested in hitting that are completely different? Like, I don't know, the mature female market?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I am very strong male. Like I'd say 80-90% male following. So yes, maybe I do need to even that back up a little bit.
Well, we're interested in the...
How do I do that?
Well, we were interested too in your female following. So even if it's 10%, obviously you've got a girlfriend and you're very happy there. But what kind of attention are you getting these days from the opposite sex? If you go out, are they aware of Prime showing his content?
You know,
or do they need...
it's worse in Melbourne than what it was in like Noosa and Brisbane.
I feel like New York.
Worse here.
Worse here, 100%. Yeah. Because
And your top's off here.
yeah,
I mean, your top's on
top's
here.
on. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nah, it's like I don't know. I think that I don't know. Most of the time, girls don't even know who you are. It's like the guys that are taking photos, and then girls are like, "Oh my god, who are you?" I'm like, "Mate, can we get a photo?" I'm like, "You don't even know who I am, bro."
They see the social media, yeah.
Nah, I don't know. It's mostly guys. It's mostly guy attention, not much girl attention. I'm quite boring.
Do you tend to, have you had to try and say no to more things just based on what you've created and grown your brand into? You've probably had to be a bit more not careful, but just look after yourself.
It's a good one. I
mean, you
believe-
said, thank God you said yes to us.
Yeah. No, I believe it was Kipchoge that said the quote, "You need to have vitamin N," which is vitamin no.
I love it.
You've got to be able to say no to more things the older that you get. But I wish I knew that when I was young, because I think that for me, I've always tried to impress people my whole life. I felt like that is like a big part of the things that I cherish. I love it when people are impressed by something that I do. So and then that kind of goes back to also, I've said in previous podcasts that I used to lie a lot, and that was really kind of like a bad thing because I wanted to impress people more and more and more. But yeah, I think that the older and more mature that I've got, the less I've tried to lie, and less I've tried to impress people, and the more that you can say no to people, the better off you'll be.
No, I looked at you because I was like, I've been guilty of that too. Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think we all are.
Yeah, we all do it. Absolutely, we all do it. Like, but it's a hard thing to actually say it. You're like,
100%.
You know, that's the hardest thing. It's like being vulnerable for a second, being like, the reason that I act this way is because of this, and it could be because of something that's happened in your childhood, or you know, something that happened at school a lot when you were growing up. And it's like the more that you can kind of draw back on those experiences, the more you're like, that's why I act the way I do. Do I like this? Do I like the way that I act here? Maybe not, so fucking change it.
Especially on the climb as well. Like when you're climbing to get to kind of somewhere in the region you want to get to.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very prevalent. I think back to myself, like I would 100% do it. And the more you get probably comfortable with where you're at, the less that kind of, because you don't need to big yourself up anymore.
And your motivation's really high at the start as well, because it's like, well, I'm no one, so I've got to get up every day and do something. And now I wouldn't say I'm someone, but like I've hit all of the goals that I wanted to hit, and like the motivation is less there because you're like, well, kind of doing it. You know, it's like I've less got that fire and motivation, and I see it a lot in people that just start social media. And I see their motivation is burning so high, and it's less about motivation and more about kind of discipline and just staying sustainable with it. Especially with the social media game.
Well, that's an interesting one, and you Dos made a really good point earlier about, you know, potentially losing it all. So you're right, and the climb, it's the motivation to get somewhere, but then a lot of people say when you kind of get to the top or near the top or where you want to be in your own mind, that you're so afraid, maybe paranoid about losing it. Do you?
So scared. Yeah. I am scared that one day it's gonna. This is an interesting thing, actually. I am scared that one day social media is just going to be deleted and I'll wake up the next morning, I'll have no followers. But also, it will kind of, like, part of it will kind of be a relief. be like, I don't have a reason to touch my phone ever again. Like I'm pretty, unfortunately, a byproduct of posting on social media is you have to consume a lot of social media because you're looking for trends, you're looking for new things. And I spend a lot of time on my phone, and I wish I didn't spend as much time on my phone. I wish I wasn't as addicted to it. So that would be the relieving part of it.
That's my biggest issue. Like my worst habit is that.
Same.
It's
shocking.
It's so bad. And you kind of, I justify it to myself because I'm like, oh, well, I need it. I need to be on it because I'm posting or I'm working or like I'm on email or like it's just
scrolling.
Yeah.
It's like you're like at a casino, bro. It's like a jackpot freaking thing.
Well, D's pretty good at it. Like we often joke about it is if you see majority of like the Instagram posts and things like that is like, we don't use a scheduler. We like to post them manually. Maybe just chuck them in drafts. But what D's good at is D will post something and he'll just let it go. And whereas I'll then go and scroll.
See,
I'm not a scroller. I just use it. I enjoy using social media for guest research, guest reach out, communicating with people, looking for brand deals, that kind of thing. But I've never been, luckily, I've never been a scroller. I don't know. Like, and I always feel embarrassed saying that because people often ask, like, in what we do, are you always on? I'm like, I actually don't. And people say, have you seen this? Most of the time I haven't.
You haven't got no idea.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, but I spend an enormous time on my phone on those apps, but just looking at stats, like stupid stats, how many views on this video or downloads or like all that shit. Like that's where I spend.
That's the addicting thing, isn't it?
Because I'm still addicted.
Yeah, you're addicted to like, the amount of times I've checked if my reel's gone like for more views and it's like hasn't got more views because I checked it a minute ago. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
I know.
Just put it down for a second. And I justify it as well. Like I'm like, I'll go post something and then I'll kind of go back and like, I'll stay on my phone and then go back in 10 minutes and have a look and be like, oh, how's it performing? It's like, if you look or don't look, it's actually not going to fucking change the results.
And I literally said something very similar to myself the other day. I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
You don't need to check it every 5. Like, you don't need, but I can't help it. It's bad.
Does your girlfriend, like, because you're both in some type of a spotlight, she's an influencer in her own right, a reality TV personality. Does she struggle with it too? Or do you guys have a bit of a rule or?
Yeah, we definitely have a rule that when we have dinner, it's phones down. But we do, now we're rewatching, I've watched it before, Game of Thrones, which I fucking love. It's
never seen it.
Oh man, it is the best TV show in history. We're up to like season 2. And you know what? It's probably like a thing that we've switched out the phone and now we're watching another screen and we're watching Game of Thrones when we eat dinner. It's like, well, where's the kind of time to be intimate? Where's the, where's the conversation? Connection that you should have. And it's weird because I'm like straight away, I'm like, I want to go and watch Game of Thrones. It's like, no, you should want to talk to each other kind of thing. Like that's the power of a relationship.
Yeah.
Well, we also said, like, before you came in, we're like, where are we going to take this interview? We've obviously heard your story before. We've had a good chat with you. We've talked a lot of footy in the past. So we're like, oh, well, maybe we'll go down a couple of different routes. So towards the end of this episode, I want to throw some totally random questions at you that we'll have a look at. But we wanted to talk a little bit about gym etiquette.
Oh, love it.
Know that you like your home gyms.
Yes.
Probably not a fan of the old Anytime Fitness.
When was the last time you, besides traveling?
Oh, gee whiz. I haven't signed up to a gym in 4 years.
Perfect. That's what we want to hear.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We want to hear the reasons why. So we want to go through some common things that happen in gyms.
Cool.
Ticks, crosses, kind
Love
of thing.
this. This is awesome.
So first things first. Actually, I want you to start.
I had one in my mind, and I was guilty of it early days. Believe it or not, Prom, I used to really love the gym.
I still believe it.
Supersets, right? I used to do it, but now when I go to the gym and I see it, it does grind my gears. How many machines can you hold on to in a superset in a commercial gym at one time? Because you see someone put their keys there, a towel there, a bottle there.
Fucking hate it.
You know?
Yeah. See, that's a hard thing with these gyms, and I have a massive problem.
Because I love supersets.
Yeah, I have a massive problem with that, especially if you like want to jump onto an exercise and you can't do your cable flies because someone's doing it for 2 seconds and they've gone over and do their incline bench. And the only 2 is to answer your question. And then furthermore from that, I want to say that the reason I don't go to go to any of those commercial gyms anymore is because the training that I do is a bit different, and I feel so judged in these places if I want to do sprints or like sled pushes or something that's a little bit just out of the ordinary that is going to help me play better in my sport, because everyone there is just training for bodybuilding. I feel like a lot of people do actually want to do the athletic stuff, but they are also scared that they're going to get so judged. So that's the goal for me in the next year or two, is to have my own gym that's not in the backyard or not in the garage, is actually have my own gym for athletes specifically, and just athletes can come in and train there.
I like that.
idea.
That's a great idea. That'll dominate as well.
Yeah, that's my plan. Anyway, sorry.
No, we love it. We love it.
So all right, cable machines is a good one, because it grinds my gears when you go into a gym and there's only like a couple cable machines and you really want to use it just for one exercise, maybe two, and there's somebody that decides they're going to do the whole workout, 45 minutes on this thing. Is that acceptable? Yes or no?
On the cables.
Yeah.
Far out. That's
I've never really seen that.
Oh, there's one bloke. Obviously, I don't even know his name, but there's one bloke that's coming to my mind right now that every time I walk in the gym and I see him, I go, "Well, there goes that."
no cables.
No chance.
No
Like
cables.
unless he's near the end of his workout, I'm no chance.
Well, don't you have to go over and ask if you can work in?
True.
There you go. That's a very good point.
I think
Everyone's
that's
scared
actually
of that.
one thing.
That's a good point.
But that is one thing that people, and I'm not saying this is you, but people are kind of like scared to talk to people. And because we're I reckon, so addicted to our phones, and we prefer to like sit there and scroll, and then we're like, oh, procrastinate for this, procrastinate for that. It's like, we actually don't have as much human connection that we would have had 50 or 100 years ago. Like, no one would have ever been scared to go talk to someone 100 years ago. Like, you just talk to people. But like now we can't even like, and I think that's, I don't know. I'm not trying to solve any world issues.
I actually think you're spot on.
On that too, though, like imagine how much further some people could get in their. I'm just thinking of someone you reference the bodybuilding types that train, and that they might be training real heavy. Is they need a spotter sometimes, but sometimes they're probably too scared, so they don't put on that extra
literally
half kilo or kilo or whatever, 5 kilo. Like, it's true though.
It's the best way to make mates ever at the gym.
Yeah.
Like, you're already training, doing stuff, and that's why like F45 when it really started, Fit Stop, and all those group training classes, run clubs are doing so well, because it's like that sense of community and sense of drive, and you're all doing something together. But commercial gyms don't really have that as much, and it's just like full of people that are too scared to talk to one another. And I love it when people talk to me at the gym. I'll be like, yeah, the reason I'm doing this exercise is because of this, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's a good spot to kind of talk.
Yeah. And even then, what was I going to say? Fuck.
Well, while you hold that, what about slamming weights and or grunting?
Slamming weights.
Grunting.
Oh, this is a hard one.
I don't mind a grunt. Like, not myself. I don't mind when somebody else grunts. I think it's okay. But it's slamming weights where it makes you jump.
Yep. That's. I think slamming weights is not as acceptable. See, this is a really hard thing for me, because when you train by yourself or with the boys in the gym, just like in your own garage space, you'll grunt and slam all the weights and do whatever the fuck you want to do, because you're just like, you're almost like freaking apes in the zoo, bro. It's awesome. Like, it's great. The boys are in there. You got the music like blaring as loud as possible. You're yelling at each other, shouting at each other. You're hitting each other. It's like fucking awesome. It's really, really good. And I think that in a commercial gym, it's not okay. But like, if we acted like the way we do in my garage in a commercial gym, we'd be kicked out in 5 minutes. So it's funny though, because like, I think everybody wants to do that. Like, especially guys, like we love kind of training hard and like being a little bit, boisterous. And I think that that's taken away in the commercial gym, because you're judged no matter what you do.
Let's go early years in your training kind of journey. We were talking about ego lifting.
Yes.
And I've obviously, anyone who probably trains some type of, when you're trying to grow muscle, you're trying to put on more weight, you probably tend to go in the gym and you see other bigger guys and they're lifting pretty heavy stuff. But then you might, see someone that's similar age to you that might be lifting a little bit heavier, and you go, oh shit, I think I might be able to do that. Or people do it, and like, so I remember doing this, and it bit me on the ass one time. I remember is not warming up.
Yeah.
And then seeing someone lifting a certain something. I would have been about 19, and I remember doing like a dumbbell just chest press, and seeing someone, and I was like, I didn't warm up, and I always warmed up.
Yeah.
And I hurt my shoulder. Have you got a story maybe from a personal experience when potentially, not that you were out of your depth, but you had a reminder to go, like, fuck, I was doing the wrong thing there. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, definitely. I would have had I'd have a couple, to be honest. The more I think about it, the more my brain gets flooded with pretty stupid things that I've done. But yeah, I think I remember when it first started, and like everyone at the school gym was full on, because all the boys at school, we'd all go in afterwards, and I was the skinniest kid, like real skinny, like would live on like Jats and cheese. That's all I ate.
Jats and cheese.
Loved it. Like that was all I ate, but like every day. Anyway, it was like 60 kilos was like a big bench press when you're 16. And I remember, going in and trying to, all the rugby boys could all do the 60. I said, I'll do it. And the boys like look at me like, fuck are you doing, bro? I'm like, yeah, I'll be right. Anyway, I remember,
there it is.
that was me. That was literally me, bro.
Look at that transformation.
So I was 17 there. So I've been going to the gym for 2 years there.
Wow.
And I swear on my life, 2 years before that in 2015, it would have been 15. And I was dead set like a twig.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. But yeah, I just remember going and trying to do a bench press, and same thing, shoulder issue. Lucky it wasn't footy season, so I didn't miss any games, but I had the exact same kind of experience. And it happens a lot in the gym with ego lifting.
Do you see? Sorry, do you mind?
No, go for it.
Like, I know you train for your sport, but do you ever see yourself maybe down the line training for size or not?
Nah, probably not, to be honest. Nah, I don't see myself.
Because I was going to ask, would you
Oh.
ever consider doing any like steroids or anything like that? I know that's a really big question, but
I could never do. I hate needles, so I probably wouldn't do it. To be honest, but there's probably a lot of other issues. I don't really want small balls.
and you probably want kids. So
I would probably never. But I think when you get to the age of like 40, I already have. I got my my blood work done the other day, which was fantastic. Come back with all of the vitamins, minerals, and also came back with your testosterone. And my testosterone isn't as high as what I want it to be.
Really?
It's like between a good number is between 12 and 32, and mine's at 11, which is not as high as what I'd want it to be. It was also done at 9 p.m. at night, so my test was going to be like a lot lower because it's lower at night time because you're going to sleep. So I would like my testosterone to get a little bit higher. When I get to the age of 40, I probably would do some sort of like test replacement after I've had my kids and all that, which could be good for energy and stuff. But I'm not really educated enough on it to have a really good understanding of what it would do to me, and if it would be good for me at that time.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts though? Because it seems to be a rapid decline in testosterone over a smaller part of history, but probably over 100 years. What are your thoughts? Why do you believe testosterone seems to be dropping so quickly in humans?
Well, I would say all the bloody things that, 8 hours sleep and train, but I do all those fucking things. And my testosterone's still fucking low. I do everything.
That's what I was going to say. For like watching you and what you probably eat, how you train, how you sleep, all that stuff, it ticks all the boxes. But
so I was like, oh, my test is going to be great. And I remember saying to my girlfriend, I was like, my test will be good. And she was like, yeah, I reckon it'd be fine. But yeah, as soon as I got the call. Are you a conspiracy
theorist in this?
Mate, I got the call back and he's like, no, it's fucking low as, bro. I'm like,
does testosterone have much to do with like your sexual health?
Yeah. It's your testes. So
okay.
it's
so like, would that have something to do with like
if you can keep it up, erectile dysfunction?
Okay. Yeah.
So are you a conspiracy theorist in this area? That like testosterone is being dropped, I don't know, by processed food, or it is a push.
I don't fucking really eat processed food.
That's talk about that a lot.
Thing.
Yeah, I'm a big like against it. So anyway, I'm gonna try and do a little bit of research on it myself and go back in 3 to 6 months. No alcohol as well. I barely drink. Don't smoke. So I was like, fuck, I don't know what else. What else I got to do?
Surely one of the biggest factors these days is like just the porn addiction thing.
Terrible, man. Porn is the worst
like for young
thing
guys.
Ever. Oh,
and I'm guilty of that throughout my life too. But
100%. I wasn't addicted to porn, but like I would watch it and I wouldn't even know how bad it was for your mental health, and then also what you found normal in the bedroom or what got you actually aroused. would get worse and worse over
100%.
time.
Yeah.
Because the normal, whatever it is, missionary doesn't cut it for you anymore.
Nah.
So you got to find something else.
Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't even know, and I'm really happy to talk on this because I do not watch
I heard you
porn.
and Louis talk about that.
Yeah, big on it. Like I'm big on.
I heard you say,
no
did I
porn.
hear you and Louis say you classified as cheating?
I classify, we both would
Yeah.
as well. In a relationship, I wouldn't want my partner watching someone else having sex. And that's okay. That's so person to person. Like relationship things is really, I get really weird talking about it on podcasts because everyone like fucking just abuses you in the comments. Like that's not right or that's a red flag. It's like everything is different in everyone's relationship. But like for me and our relationship, I wouldn't watch, porn, and my girlfriend doesn't either. And that's normal in our relationship. And if that's not normal in other people's relationship, that's totally fine. I don't judge you, but that's just what works for us.
Well, maybe share what Catherine said.
Well, we've had both sides on the scale on this show, which is great. We've had people that actually work in the industry and are very pro porn, and we've had very the more scientific people that have come on and said this is what porn does to your brain. This is your brain for a porn addict compared to a person was it cocaine?
Yeah.
And it shows scans of your brain and how similar they are. And then of course it goes really deep into serial killers and that's the real end part of porn addiction. But she is one of our guests. We've been on twice, Catherine Lyle, and she basically helps people overcome porn addiction, but she classifies porn addiction as watching porn once a month. So you can imagine in the comments how many people like, what
Mate,
the fuck?
I'm well addicted. Yeah.
Everyone's like, and then you get the funny
addicted.
comments like, well, I'm addicted to visiting my grandma. I'm addicted to breathing and eating. This is mic stand's going weird.
Yeah, that's a weird. That's a hard number. One a month.
I know.
It is.
I'm not sure if I agree with it, but
I would have it at like, okay, I don't know anything. Just preface, but like 5 to 10 would be like, nah. Isn't addiction
Well, I
like
would've
every
thought-
day?
I would
Isn't
say-
it like
I would
30?
say every day.
That's what I would have thought.
Or
But
even a few
I'd
times
say
a week.
30. I'd say.
I agree.
I'd
And
say 30, sorry.
I
Yeah.
100% agree. But where she comes in is she'll say, well, this is what it causes. This is how bad. And basically, she said some stuff that it's really interesting. Similar to what you just said, is like human beings' arousal should be smell and sense and taste and touch and all that sort of stuff. So it's funny. We all laugh and joke about it. But she goes like, men should be able to walk down the street and the smell should come and bang. You're like, you're actually aroused.
Yeah.
Well, I remember her saying as well. She said, if you don't get a boner when you kiss your girlfriend,
That's an issue.
that's an issue. Which that made me
And that's low test as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
interesting stuff.
Yeah. Jeez. If you just like give her a peck to say goodbye, I'm not getting
Yeah, well, I think
aroused.
that's a bit
But, like,
different.
No,
You don't
No,
need to
no,
round up over that.
Not at a family lunch, pecking my girlfriend. And just fucking all of a
Bitching
sudden there's
jets.
a Johnson under the table. That's not what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I think it more involved a bit of tongue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Legit kiss. Yeah. I think that's, mate, it's so true. Like, and I think, again, it goes back to kind of a bit of a theme that I've got in this podcast is like that human connection, and it's decreasing every day.
Yeah.
Like I find it in my life, it's decreasing, and it's a really hard thing. And I hope that we can kind of get off our screens as much as possible. And I'm a culprit as well of it, and I would like to get off it as well.
Well, you have such a large portion of your audience is so many just young lads, young guys.
That's the thing. My whole business is also based off people watching me on the screen.
Yeah.
So it's like I shouldn't be jumping on a podcast and saying get off your screens, but I am, because I reckon that is more important, to me than getting views and stuff.
No, but even I was probably more meaning like I know this isn't your it's not part of your vocab when you go on a podcast, but it's not like I know we brought up the porn topic, but like a lot of probably your followers are young lads who probably do that.
Yeah.
Hearing you talk about that, they probably go, oh shit.
Yeah, it's no good. Yeah, no.
You can impact them in more ways in so many other areas of their life than just health and fitness as well.
Yeah, no, I'm big on it, and I'll always say like, get off the porn, man. Like I have it in my 30-day challenge. We've got 160 grams of protein, 8 hours of sleep, a workout every single day, get some sunlight if possible, not in Melbourne, no porn. Like that's a big thing, because I think that it has a lot of other things that it will bring you. Like you guys said before, it will increase your arousal to your partner. You'll have a better connection. both sexually and just in your relationship as well.
So you won't see Prime Train on OnlyFans anytime
You won't see me there. You won't see me there, unfortunately.
No matter how bad, if the Instagram
I
crashes
know.
and
If
everything.
Imagine that. Everything goes to
You could
shit.
do exclusive content.
Everything goes to shit, and OnlyFans is the only one that is left. I'll be there. No, I won't. I would never do it. I find it an interesting world, but I let people live their life as they want to.
Well, and I mean, we touched on it earlier, but also being in a relationship for you, how has that changed your life and
It's
your
really
outlook?
good, man.
And
yeah, it's fantastic. I think that just having that stability in my life, because especially when I first moved down to Melbourne, I was kind of pretty heavy on going out and enjoying what I'd kind of been working on for the last 2 or 3 years up in Noosa. And then I've come down here and, people asking for a photo or something on a night out. It's nice. You feel good about yourself, but then you realise that kind of validation is only for a short period of time, and then you go home and you sit by yourself on a Sunday, and it's kind of like, what am I doing this for? Am I just living for a Saturday night? But it is hard. Like I really wanted to say this today, that it's difficult as I'm 24 now, and it's like, what should I be going out every weekend and enjoying my 20s and enjoying what I have done? Or should I be like locked in and living life like a 40-year-old? I don't know.
Probably a mix of both.
It's a hard thing, I know, and that's the answer. You got to find the mix of both, especially at this age, because I don't want to look back when I get to 30 or 40 or 50, God forbid, and say, shit, I wish I went harder in my 20s.
And I think that's everybody's dilemma.
Yeah.
But I've got like one question that always, and everybody that ever asked me about you, when you've been on our show,
you've been a much talked about guest.
Yeah, but
Thanks,
people always,
I think.
I don't
No,
understand.
good.
I don't understand this because every piece of content I've ever watched of yours doesn't reflect this. So why do you get so much hate? Why do people? Why is there this assumption for people that haven't met you that you're this arrogant person? That you're like, this is what people have said. They're so intrigued to know what you're really like.
Yeah.
And we've always been able to say, well, we don't have a bad word to say based
Thanks,
on
boys.
what we've watched.
Yeah,
But
such a genuine bloke.
Nah,
Even both of these boys, before you came in, they said, what's he like? And I literally said, he is one of the most genuine guys you will ever meet.
And anybody that
thank you,
just
boys.
listened to the last however long we've been recording would have heard that too. But I don't, where do you think it comes from?
I'm really interested by this question. Again, great question. I have unfortunately grown up in front of the camera over the last 4 years. And fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, but when I first started, I less cared what people thought about me. And I was probably erring a little bit towards sometimes I might say something or do something a little bit arrogant. And that opinion of me might not be the person that I am today. But when I first started social media and one person sees that one video of me or that one thing that I've said, or it's a comment or whatever it is, and they'll always have that opinion of me no matter what. And the longer that I've lived on this earth, not that it's been that long, but 24 years, I realized that people change and people learn and people make mistakes. And I've made a lot of mistakes over my social media journey. I've filmed a lot of things I didn't, posted things that now I'd never post. And 4 years ago, I was very happy just flinging it on the internet. And you grow, and like now the things that I post are a lot different to what I used to post. So that could be where the opinion comes from. But I'm very happy to change people's opinion if they want it to be changed.
I loved what you said earlier, and this is something, and there's a lot of content on this at the moment. Maybe it's just in my algorithm, but how when you're 50, like I'm 29, right? D's 29, we're getting closer to 30.
Yes, thanks again.
It's funny because I bring this up because I hate it. I hate the fact that you're 24 and I'm 29.
Yeah.
It actually annoys me.
I'm annoyed with 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds.
I go and I look at Prime and I go, we're mates, and I go, I feel like we're the same age, but we're not.
Yeah.
And but I'm literally, while you were just explaining and answering that, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, fuck, I can't believe he's only 24.
Yeah.
But then I think about it and I go, I'll be wishing I was 29 when I'm 40.
Yeah.
You know? So I think when you're saying, oh, should I be going out and having fun, or should be, I think it doesn't even really matter what you do. I think in 30 years' time, you look back and you'll go, I just wish I was that age.
Yeah, you're so right. I do 100% agree with that. It's like, it's less about how you live it and more about just
Enjoying it.
Enjoying it. You know, you're youthful, and you know, if I was 35 and you're 29, I'll be pissed off at you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like when the shoe's on the other foot, you know, always comes back to bite you, I think.
Apologies to anyone over 70 that is watching right now. Are you a person that like? Do you dwell on? Do you beat yourself up? Like we were actually having a chat earlier. I rarely drink. We were talking about alcohol before, and main reason is I've never enjoyed the taste. So I just don't. It's very rare I ever drink, but I beat myself up if I do, and I ride off the next day. Normally, it's mainly because of fatigue. It's having a late night, but I hate the idea of, say, Saturday night going out and then Sunday feeling crook and even getting out of bed at 12 and being like, fuck, I've just wasted the morning. Are you someone that dwells on that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm big on productivity. And if I'm not being productive or I'm not, you know, like I said, I've got that whiteboard with the goals up on the thing. If I woke up hungover and I'm looking at the goals, I'm like, oh, fuck, not today. Then you feel pretty shit about yourself. So I think that it's a hard thing with alcohol because, like I said, you want to enjoy your 20s, but I also want to be successful. I want to earn money. And unfortunately, what I do to my body, what I drink, what I eat, it's all a legit, perfect, reaction to the monetary values that I'm worth, unfortunately. So people want to buy my programs based on how I look. I am prime trained, unfortunately or fortunately. That's kind of what it is. And yeah, people, I don't want to be trained by a fat personal trainer. I would never do it.
And that was always my thing. I've
never understood it.
And there's the whole talk about body positivity, and I understand that conversation. But one thing I've never understood is walking into a gym and seeing an overweight personal trainer. And I get that there's some people might be intimidated walking in and seeing someone like you, your physique, and going, well, I'm way off that. Maybe that's intimidating. But having said that, I've never understood that whole. I hate saying because always
anyone can do anything.
Yeah, the body positivity stuff, and we like,
I've gotten less politically correct with this as I've gotten on. At the start, I was like,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I was erring on the side of caution. Now I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm in the business of making people fitter, as fit as they possibly can be, and as happy and as healthy as they possibly can be. Because I know there's a direct correlation in my life because I've fucking lived it. When I'm at my absolute fittest, I'm also at my absolute happiest. I feel fucking great about myself. And all of my clients that I've trained have had the exact same fucking reaction. The same thing happened to my sister when I trained her when we were 14 and 15. And then she's doing great things. She's a rowing bloody at college in New York, which is fantastic. I'm not saying that was because of me, just FYI. She had that talent already. But, you figure out as you get on and you train people and you see people's progression through that it's like, how the fuck could you want to live your life just being a lazy fucking piece of shit? Because I fucking hate that. I've lived it before. I know what it feels like. You feel shit about yourself every single day. So I never want to be that person.
No, I think I'm the exact same. I look back at times when I've been at my fittest, and 100%.
You just feel great.
Yeah, and I think it was too. Great. Like we've talked about this. We were both like really quite overweight.
Off air, we'll show you.
But fit doesn't have to mean like six pack.
No.
And that's not. I don't say when I say that. I don't mean you have to look like a Greek god.
No.
You literally just have to be, below 15% kind of body fat, 10% body fat. And you can run, you can lift, you feel healthy, you're flexible, you're playing footy or whatever you're doing and you're not getting injured. Like, you just feel bloody great about yourself.
Plus, like, the thing that I always thought too is I had this weird theory. When I lost a lot of weight, I was in my head and I thought, why do people smile at me? Why are people nicer to me? And then I just realized one day it's because I'm smiling, I'm being friendly. I want to talk to people because I'm more confident. And that was kind of a big epiphany for me. So and that's why I fucking hate the body, like the body positivity kind of movement when it's, this is beautiful. I get that it's people can be happy and healthy, but
doesn't matter what size you are. You're beautiful.
There's also
see the way you look is a direct kind of correlation of the amount of respect you have for yourself. And I don't believe that people, I know that people don't respect themselves if they let themselves just fucking, go to the wayside and look like shit. And
well, do you follow or know Andy Elliott, the sales guy?
yeah, I like him.
Like
He's funny.
his shit is brutal, but it's true.
It's true.
And that is when you like have you seen or heard? I think I've mentioned it to
He's
you
funny. He
before.
does wear the smallest shirts and
and the
shorts I've ever
skinniest
seen.
pants.
Fucking hilarious.
But he's a beast.
But he's a beast and he's honest. And there's not enough honesty in the fucking world
No.
these days, bro. And that's why one of the guys that I fucking love is David Goggins. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's just honest, truthful, and says it how he is and how it is. And he has, again, he's lived a life. He went from 300, 400 pounds down to being one of the craziest athletes of all time. And there's a lot of things that went on in his life that could have knocked him down.
Some really
but
bad
didn't.
shit.
Terrible stuff, man. Got beat as a kid. He was a black kid in a white kind of
Racism.
neighborhood. A lot of racism growing up. He could have easily said, "Nah, fuck this. I'm not going to do it." So he's a big motivator
One of the
for me.
greatest books ever written.
Love
This
him.
one,
Yeah, great book. You changed my life.
Yeah.
Honestly, changed my life.
So if you've just been sitting at home for the last hour watching this on YouTube on your couch, go buy a fucking program from Prime Chain and
buy
change
a
your
program.
life right now.
Listen to the
I wish we
David
started
Goggins
this
book.
chat a bit earlier.
Yeah,
'cause
well-
I'm passionate
And
about this.
but one thing
I
do
get real passionate about it. I love it.
I like what you just said because I do think it really is important. And I've said this, I think we are starting to move a little bit away as a society from the political correctness kind of world we were living in, especially around COVID times. And I think it's good that people now freely speaking their mind, being able to speak with a little bit more less filter or less stress about what people are going to say. And some of these things that we've just been trained that you have to think a certain way and talk a certain way is starting to kind of deviate. I do think it's important.
I've been fortunate or unfortunate again to have almost been cancelled, and I know that people they can kind of forget about it as things go on, but a lot of people do also remember. But it's like the world moves on. Like
exactly.
there's obviously levels to what you can say, and people you don't want to offend. But like I think that being healthy is, again, probably one of the biggest issues we have in the world at the moment. Like I was just over in New York 2 months ago. I was like, holy shit, these brothers are not healthy. Like they are not healthy, and the food over there is full on. So I think that people kind of, if you can push people to be happier, healthier, and fitter, fucking whatever means necessary, if it's truthful, if it's mothering them and looking after them, whatever way you can do it, whatever way people respond to best, that's what you got to do.
Agree.
Would you ever, before we cut, I don't know if you want any more questions after this, D, but do you remember the doco Super Size Me? Did you ever watch that?
Yeah.
Would you ever consider putting yourself in a certain position where you go and put on a bunch of weight, you document it, and you show people, hey, we can all do this. I'll show you how to do it, and nothing extreme, but I'll just show you the simple things and almost show them the transformation and how it can be done. Have you ever considered doing something like that?
Yeah,
Really?
100%. Yeah, I would love to do something like that. It's the hard thing is I know even when I'm not very healthy or not living everything suffers. My relationships suffer, my work suffers, and the only reason I probably wouldn't do it is because of that. I feel like I'm not as nice of a person. I don't have as much energy, so my business would start to fail anyway because I would be a fat personal trainer on social media. Everything that I do, relates back to that, and I'd just be unhappy. It's like, why the fuck would I be unhappy? Like, I know what makes me happy in my life, like the things that I have to do every single day. Why the fuck would I ever change that? I love my life. I'm happy. So
for the sake of an experiment.
For the sake of an experiment, which might work, might not, and I'll be unhappy for a couple of months. Fuck that.
Yeah, fair.
I'll be as happy as hell.
Yeah. Can you believe that once upon a time being healthy was offensive? A couple of years ago.
People will look back on it, bro. People will look back on it and just be like, "Whoa, that's wild."
Yeah.
Being healthy,
it was offensive.
I've never. Wow, that's a.
There you go.
Put that on the wall, man.
Oh no, it's just the whole woke.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
But that whole.
Yeah, you got to see. There is things that you got to be careful with, and I'm very, I'm politically correct with a lot of things, but then there's other things where I'm like, mate, let people have a fucking word for once in their life. Like people who are allowed to speak. You got a voice for a fucking reason.
Exactly.
I'm keen to I'm keen to go and get a feed with Prime now one day.
Yeah.
You know, and
feed?
chat. No, we'll feed.
Oh, a feed. Yeah. Sorry,
feed
a feed.
and,
Yeah.
or coffee, and we can
Yeah.
talk more in detail about this
No,
stuff.
bloody oath. I
Yeah.
love this stuff. Mate, come around for a gym session.
Yeah,
if you're ever around.
For sure.
I won't say where I live on the podcast, but you guys know.
Bali.
Bali.
Yeah.
Yes, come down to Bali. I'll get you guys sorted.
We'll get the flights on the expense.
Yeah.
We'll
No,
write
seriously,
that
do
off with
come
Dax.
and
I'd
do
love
a
that.
gym session,
Yeah.
and then we can have a feed or something after. We can
We'll bring
jump
the
in the
protein
ice bath.
shakes.
Oh, we've got the protein shakes at home. Don't you
Okay,
stress. I've got everything, boys. You just come and I'll sort you out.
It's funny.
all right?
I live in a very close villa to yours in Bali too, so it's not too far.
Villa de Prime.
I'm on a different island in Bali.
Yes.
So,
You're
you know,
still not
yes.
too far.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, we're about to head to Golf Box. Anything else for Prime?
Mate,
Throw anything?
oh, God.
Give
You
him a
did-
random question. I love ending on a random question.
Random question. What's your favourite movie of all time?
The Proposal. Absolute fantastic.
Is that got
flick.
Ryan Reynolds?
Sandra Bullock, Ryan Reynolds. Their chemistry is
Never seen
insane. Oh, it's the best movie of all time. Talk about a love story. Mate, this is a rom-com from the ages.
I was going to say, Prime's gone with a rom-com.
No, I'm telling you, this is the best movie you've ever seen. Ryan Reynolds, Sandra Bullock. She was like my little crush when I was
Yeah.
growing up.
Good laugh?
I love her. Oh, just hilarious.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh,
I've
well,
seen it all the time. You know when you
It's on
see
Netflix.
stuff and you just go through it, you see it and you go,
I don't have Netflix.
I'm telling
but I
you,
might get it.
it's my favourite movie of all
I'll
time.
have to watch it now.
Number one, fucking give it a watch.
I want to ask one question because I
Okay.
love this question. What scared you as a kid?
Ooh.
And I'm talking, sorry, I should preface this, so it's
Okay.
not like necessarily like actual
Death,
scary
you
things.
know?
I'm saying like a movie, a character, a TV show, a sound, a song.
Well, I hate to admit it, but it was when I was really young. We used to have this hippo in the house, and I used to dream every night, and I'd wake up screaming. I'd be like, ah!
at the hippo.
A plastic hippo.
The hippo,
or-
no, it was like a wooden hippo, and I used to dream every night that it would come to eat me. I was scared shitless of it when I was like
weird.
really young, scared
There you
shitless.
go.
But I was always scared of the dark. Hated it.
Really?
Yep, completely, utterly hated it. I always slept with like a lamp on or my door open and a light in the hallway. Just I hated that I couldn't see, things that were going on. I was so scared of like a ghost or something. I was scared of the dark probably till like, I don't know, 14 or 15. I had to go to boarding school and then I had to tough up. So
There you go.
that was probably it.
Well,
There you go.
Prime, thank you so much. We really appreciate
I
you
love you
coming in and
boys.
We
having
love
a
you,
chat.
mate.
We like we said, and as you know, we don't have notes. We like to just kind of see where the conversation goes. And I didn't expect it to go down the path it went today, which was great. But this time, opposed to last time you came on the show, we're going to send you home with some goodies, aren't we, Dos?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
courtesy of our
It's
fantastic sponsors.
Prime probably walked in a year on. A lot's changed for dos&d, and it's changed for the better for Prime because
Yeah.
he's going home with our good friends at Fleetpay and High Solutions. They're giving Prime. Do you love a bit of golf?
I love my golf.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're
not good
send-
at it, but I do love it.
Yeah, that's exactly like us. They're sending you home with a little golf accessory kit, so you're going to go home
wow.
with balls, tees, glove, towel,
Yeah, wow.
everything that you need accessories wise, and then you're going to complete a little challenge if you're up for it. The
absolutely.
golf box putting challenge. We're going to head over to the golf box putting green where there might be another little prize over there as well.
We're going to send you home with some more equipment, which we'll explain later. But of course, if you do need your golf equipment,
Where do they go?
Well, they go to golfbox.com.au, don't they? Fast and free shipping anywhere in Australia. It's the best. And Prime's going to have a crack at the new tailor-made putter that they've sent
Yeah,
us
the
as well.
Spider, it's
The
called.
The Spider and the balls.
Tailor-made.
And
Yeah,
of
the
course-
Spider Everett.
So
Yeah.
we'll head over there. Prime, for anybody that is living under a rock, where do we find you on socials?
Just Prime Train, PRIM. Prime
E.
Train on everything. Prime. PRIME. Yep, just on everything, man. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. But yeah, if you want to follow my personal account, it's Tom Baulch, Baulch. I know how to spell that because I've done it a lot of times. But yeah, find me there. But boys, I seriously love you. What you guys are doing is good. It's great actually, and some of the guests you guys are getting on, I've got imposter syndrome sitting over here because you've got some really good ones.
Thanks,
so
legend.
congrats.
We love you.
I
No,
love
you
listening to
inspire
it.
us, mate. So
Yeah, truly do.
we're just going to keep going. So thanks, mate.
Nah, love you boys.
All right, we're here for the segment that we've all been looking forward to. It is the golf box activation. Dos's favourite word. And
Activation,
with
yeah.
us today, we've got the one and only Tom Baulch, the Prime Train.
Thanks for having me, boys. Very excited. Let's see how my putting goes.
Now, before we start putting, have a look at the board behind us, sent to us by Golf Box. Do you see any familiar faces that you quite
Yeah,
like?
who do you
on here?
like?
There's
Who
a
do you
few
like?
little-
Yeah, well, I saw Tiger initially. I obviously got Adam Sandler. Hopefully not going to do my Happy Gilmore
Yeah, don't do that.
impersonation inside. What about you guys? Oh, this girl.
I love the meme.
That's how
That guy.
fun.
Remember that? You know that meme? He's turning around. He's
Yeah. Oh, wow. Steph Curry. Oh, my God. There's people everywhere.
Yeah, you got to look closely in
Oh,
that. But,
gee
there you
whiz.
go. That's sent to us by our
that's
wonderful friends at
fantastic.
Golfbox. Now you've got the tailor-made spider putter, which is sent to us by our good friends at Golfbox, which you can of course pick up at golfbox.com.au. Dos, how are we going to play this game?
I'll let you explain the rules here because you know the scoring system better than me.
All right, so we've got Connor here that's going to score for us, and he's also going to time for us. Prime, you've got 1 minute to putt 6 balls. Now you've got plenty of time.
Cool.
The way we're going to do this is you're going to aim for this beautiful bullseye here. Now, if you hit that and land it there, 50 points. And if we work backwards, we go 25, 20, 15. This square is 10. Then we go 5, 3, 1. Anything off the mat is 0. But if you can somehow land, and I mean flush, land the ball on there, and I did it earlier, so it is possible.
It is.
It is 100 points.
I feel like I'm in a carnival. And the house always wins.
Well, tell you what,
This is my buy-in. What's my buy-in today?
one reason you want to be winning this is you choose the charity of your choice,
Okay.
and Golfbox are donating $1,000 to the person who finishes first on the leaderboard at the end of the year.
Who would that be if you happen to win?
My boys, the Speak and Share boys. I'm going to give it to them.
Love that.
Lovely.
Yeah, they're at Ranad neck of the woods as well.
Yeah, they
Peninsula
are.
boys.
Great
Yeah.
blokes.
Love
Great
it.
blokes.
Former guest of the show too, so that would be great. So, Connor, if you want to come over here and get that timer nice and ready, Prime will get you in position. We love a lefty, by the way. So
Yeah,
don't
no.
get too many of them.
Let's,
Where do I go from?
where do you, how about I do that?
So
That's a bit
basically, anywhere behind that dot is
better.
fine.
All right. Oh, he's going out there for a warm up, Prime. he's doing run throughs.
Now, just make sure, Prime, that this green is like a true putting green. There could be slopes.
Do I get a...
Nope.
No warm ups.
That's the hard thing. We've had to tell everybody no warm up. So as soon as that, timer goes, we'll be away.
He's assessing the green. He's analysing the surface. Fast, slow,
All right.
slopey.
I'll jump on this side. And
Slow
I'll get...
seven.
It's a busy. Come on.
All right.
You ready?
On your marks.
A minute 30 you've got Prime.
A minute
don't
30?
rush. No, what is it? A minute.
minute, a minute.
Sorry.
On your marks.
60 seconds.
Get set. Let's roll. First part. Oh, it's shallow. He's scored. That's 1 point.
1 point.
Second one.
Oh,
Bit more
that's-
distance.
That's a
That's
5.
5. We're on 6. 6 after 2. Take your time.
Come on, Prime.
Here we go. That's got
bad.
length.
That's not
Is
bad.
Not too much. No,
that's okay.
that's very good.
Okay.
That's 20 points. 26.
He's got 2 to go after this.
26.
That's nice.
Oh, that's 5. That's 31.
Is he
2
going to go for the 100?
Is he going to go for 100? 31.
Oh.
That could be on.
Oh, last one. Wait, what's he on?
He's done 51, so he'd probably have to hit 100 here. He's going to go for it.
He's gone for it?
He's gone for it.
gone
Will it
for
come
it?
back?
No.
Boys, that is not how you putt. So, congratulations to me. That was terrible.
No, mate, it was a great effort. I mean, it was a great effort. Better than I've had a practice run and it was better than me.
Yeah, if I had a pracky, I would have got it. But I like the no pracky run because my first one was, it was shocking.
Well, Prime, mate, I hope you've enjoyed it. Golf box. What a golf box sending Prime
Sending
home
home with some beautiful. What are these? I've got them in my hand. Got tailor-made golf
Tailor-made.
balls. So we're going to send you home with a sleeve of them, courtesy of our good friends at Golfbox.
Beautiful, mate. Well, thanks again for joining us, mate, and look forward to catching up in the future.
Done. Muchly appreciated, boys. I love you.
Thanks again to Golf Box. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that great stuff, and we'll see you in the next video.